There are very few modern comics that I've instantly been in awe of from the very first time I read them, but Sean Gordon Murphy's 2017 limited series, Batman White Knight, is all of that and more. White Knight, an 8-issue miniseries set within its own version of the DC Comics universe, flips the conventional relationship between the Dark Knight and his arch-enemy the Joker completely on its head, making us rethink everything we think we know about the Caped Crusader and his world. So in this video I want to break down everything that I think makes Batman White Knight truly one of the best comic book stories in recent years, explore how it challenges the 80+ year history and relationship of its titular heroes and villains, giving us a fascinating and fresh take on the classic Batman-Joker dynamic, and proving to be one of the most interesting, unique, and captivating comic books of the past decade. So, White Knight takes place in a world largely familiar to the usual Batman status quo. It's somewhat a hybrid of the traditional DC Comics universe, mixed in with the Batman animated series and the original Tim Burton films. But it quickly devolves into something unlike any ordinary Batman adventure. The comic opens with Batman hot in pursuit of the Joker, aided by Barbara Gordon aka Batgirl and Dick Grayson aka Nightwing, as the Clown Prince of Crime attempts to escape from his foe through Gotham's industrial district. Joker's hideout, surprisingly, is manufacturing pills, and as Batman tracks him down and the pair fight, Joker pulls a set of these unknown pills out from his pocket, proposing Batman let him take some, and says that these pills will help Joker do more good than Batman ever has. This angers Bruce, who responds by forcing the entire bottle of pills down the Joker's throat, as Barbara, Dick, and the GCPD watch on in shock. Now, this event is the catalyst of the book's main story, as this moment begins to change the public opinion on Batman and whether his actions actually benefit the city. This sentiment is even shared by Dick and Barbara, who are shocked at their mentor's actions and confront Bruce, only to discover his concerning demeanour stems from the fact that Alfred is dying. Meanwhile, Joker wakes up in a police hospital, but not as the Clown Prince of Crime, instead as the man he once was, Jack Napier. Napier, now fully sane and cognizant, begins a crusade against Batman, the Gotham Police, and the city establishment for the damage they've ultimately caused to Gotham. Napier returns home where he's met by Harley Quinn, who attacks him before he's rescued by another, the original Harleen Quinzel, who is revealed to have left the Joker following the murder of Jason Todd. Napier and Harley reunite and begin working together in a political campaign to improve the city of Gotham and rally against vigilante justice that currently oversees it. In this, Napier essentially becomes the White Knight of Gotham, the city's new protector and hero, though attempting to pursue change through legal and legislative means as a city councillor rather than a masked vigilante. This parallel is furthered even more when Bruce discovers that much of Gotham's elite have been profiting off Batman's various battles, buying up houses and properties damaged in the fights for cheap, and then selling them on for profit. This is eventually discovered by Napier too, who, after funding the construction of a new library in the poor district of Backport, concocts a plan to lure Batman into those areas by mind-controlling various members of his rogue gallery and setting them loose throughout the city. As expected, Bruce attempts to stop the rampaging villains, while also trying to get them away from heavily populated areas, choosing to bring them to Napier's library in Backport, believing that if they were hired by him, they wouldn't attack Joker's property. But this backfires as the villains destroy the library completely, severely injuring Bruce as the building collapses. Bruce is able to drag his body home, collapsing at the bedside of Alfred, who has been receiving treatment from Bruce and Mr. Freeze. However, when Bruce wakes up, he realises that in order to save his master's life, Alfred actually detached his own life support system and plugged it into Bruce, awakening to find his father figure dead beside him. As this is going on, the former Harley Quinn, now taking up the identity of Neo Joker, begins to investigate Napier's plan, discovering the remains of Clayface, who Napier had used as part of his mind control scheme, using him to take control of the various villains that Napier had earlier. As she plans her attack, Napier meets with the Gotham police in secret to discuss setting up a Gotham terrorist oppression unit, using the money from the Batman Devastation Fund to equip the police with Batman's technology. Neo Joker attacks, and Batman's attempt to stop her ultimately caused further damage and devastation to the Gotham Gate Bridge, leading to Commissioner Gordon to call for Batman's arrest. As the GTO close in on Batman's whereabouts, Napier arrives and squares off with his foe, with the former Joker surprisingly besting the Dark Knight at hand-to-hand combat and placing him under arrest. As this happens though, Neo Joker uses a super weapon stolen from Mr. Freeze to freeze Gotham's harbour, demanding in turn that she be given the Joker. This ultimately leads to Napier, Batman and the GCPD agreeing to work together, as Jack reveals that his medication is beginning to wear off as he starts to transform back and forth between himself and the Joker. This leads to an incredible exchange as Napier and Batman ride together in the Batmobile, where Napier reveals to Bruce the true nature of what happened to Jason Todd, the former Robin, as Napier tells him that Jason didn't actually die, but he told Joker after being tortured that he wished he'd never met Bruce Wayne, and Jason fled after Joker had freed him. This sobering revelation causes Bruce to reevaluate his actions and his behaviour, as he and Napier meet up with the GTO to devise a strategy, as Bruce embraces with Dick and Barbara. As Napier's pills truly begin to wear off, he and Batman race through Gotham's tunnels to track down and stop Neo Joker, as the GTO, led by Nightwing and Batgirl, fight off the mind control villains protecting her. Eventually, Batman leaves to stop a freed Clayface from attacking Napier, who, alongside Harley, chases down Neo Joker in the Batmobile. As they approach a closing floodgate though, Napier launches Harley through the gap in the Batcycle, knowing the pair wouldn't fit through it together. With Napier seemingly sacrificing himself for her, Harley corners and apprehends Neo Joker, as Batman searches for, rescues, and ultimately saves the life of Jack Napier. The comic wraps up with Napier confessing to his crimes and being placed in a cell in Arkham Asylum, where he marries Harley before he ultimately turns back into the Joker for good. Meanwhile, Batman meets with Commissioner Gordon, where he confesses that maybe Napier was right all along, acknowledging that he let himself go too far and too deep in his war on crime, before handing Gordon the keys to the original Batmobile and unmasks in front of him in order to earn back his trust, promising to work alongside the GTO and within the law to help make Gotham a better place, finding a medium between he and Napier's visions as the ideals of the Dark Knight and the White Knight finally come together. As you can probably tell, I think this story is nothing short of incredible. The world that Sean Murphy, Todd Klein and Matt Hollingsworth craft throughout this story is incredibly captivating. The comic deals with a number of complex themes, including corruption, mental illness and political activism, and uses the character of Jack Napier to question the impact that Batman's actions have on the city. White Knight does a great job of making you see the good and the bad in both Napier and Batman, understanding how their intentions are the same, but their approaches are polar opposite. Both characters in the story go above the law to take whatever means they feel is necessary to protect their city. Neither man is truly heroic on their own, but maybe together their ideals represent the real hero that Gotham needs. While Joker understandably steals the show in this story, I personally find Bruce Wayne's arc to be equally fascinating. Throughout the comic, we see Batman become more enraged, reckless and desperate, clearly feeling threatened by Napier's ascension as Gotham's saviour and compounded by the loss of Alfred, moving further away from the classic hero we expect him to be and to a more vengeful, unstoppable force that refuses accountability and responsibility. It's through his conversations with Napier in the second half of the book though that enables Bruce to realise the error of his ways and bring himself back to the person he was, brought back to Earth through humanity. Whether it be the humanity of Jack Napier, Dick, Barbara, Commissioner Gordon, or Alfred, whose dying letter is ultimately what determines Bruce to be a better hero than he ever has been, unmasking in front of Gordon, and vowing to conduct his war on crime alongside the police as opposed to against them. White Knight is honestly DC Elseworlds or Black Label at their very best. It's a story that couldn't really be told in the regular continuity, because by the time that White Knight ends, the Batman status quo has changed in ways that you can never really go back from. And part of this ambition on the part of Sean Murphy is why I'm so enamoured with this series. It's both a love letter to Batman comics, TV shows and movies, but it's also an exploration and a critique of the hero in a way we rarely see in mainstream Batman stories. It's a comic that I would happily recommend to anyone, and one that I will continue to reread and discover more small and brilliant details each time that I do. In the end, Batman White Knight is a Batman and Joker story unlike any that have really come before it, and for a character that's been around and remained so popular for some 80 plus years, I think that says a lot about the quality that this book has to offer. And in my mind, I ultimately don't think it's over-exaggeration for me to tell you that Batman White Knight is truly a modern classic. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like on the video and leave a comment down below as well. Let me know your thoughts on Batman White Knight and everything we talked about in the video itself. I can't wait to hear what you have to say as always. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and the notify bell next to it so you stay up to date with all the things that we're working on here on the channel. There's going to be a lot more videos and streams and stuff coming in the near future, so if you want more of that, stay up to date. I know it's a weird time right now, so I hope you're all doing okay. Wash your hands, look after each other, and yeah, hopefully it'll all be alright. If you want some more of me, you can follow me on Twitter just at OwenLikesComics, and if you want to help me support the channel, there are links down in the description to do so. Thank you all for watching, I'll see you all next time, so until then, take care and keep reading.